All right, moving on. Another thing that women need to know is that if they do happen to find themselves in it, and hopefully not, but if they're in a living together situation or just hookup, sex, men's semen raises their psychological state, and what the reason for it is that there are things in men's semen like endorphins, which is a type of opioid, serotonin, prolactin, and even FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone, LH. And those two can make a woman ovulate, ovulate early. So
Which
it
makes you
makes
more likely to get pregnant.
correct. And that makes sense when you're married. But all those things, the two, the man and the wife being bonded that way, and his semen affecting her that way, makes all kinds of sense. Again, on the studies that they did on this, it was with women who, like married women that their husbands didn't wear condoms, and unmarried women who were trying to keep from getting pregnant, whose boyfriends did, and there are several levels lower, there are several levels more depressed and anxious than the women who were married and not they weren't using condoms. So, but that's something that women in a casual sex situation can find themselves almost like addicted, to this sex act with this guy, and they don't realize why, because it makes them feel better that way. Last thing that women should realize, despite our media and Hollywood and all of that, sports, is that men on average have 80% more upper body muscle fiber. Women have, and they have 50% more lower body muscle fiber. So that's the reason we have the swimmers that are, the transgender women swimmers that are
The
doing so
men,
well.
the men who pretend to be women
Correct.
do
Yeah.
better because they've got a bigger upper body.
And yeah, once you're through puberty, that doesn't change, so you're just, it doesn't matter how much estrogen you take or blockers and that type of thing. So, and also, you know, men on average, and this is something that's not good to think about, but most men on average, if they wanted to, could kill a woman with their bare hands. On average, very few women could ever, even harm a man, let alone kill him with their bare hands. So, in all these situations that women sometimes get themselves into, and again, Hollywood and all of that goes against that
Makes it
these
look
days.
like she's up there doing karate chops and flipping him over, and
Yeah, there's just such a
that's not
mismatch,
real.
such a
Yeah.
mismatch. Yeah, and so again, when you got the abusive situations, it's almost always going physical abuse, almost always going male versus male to
Yeah.
female, and so female need to be aware of that. Now, quickly, things men need to know about women. Well, this is nothing going to be new to you.
So it's going to take like 2 hours for this part, right?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna make it quick. I think we better plan on stopping after things men need to know about women, because I know we need to not take that too long. Um, uh, this is obvious. Women often tie emotion to sex and desire intimacy in order to bond. Romance and romantic settings are important to women, and young men need to realize this, that the context of their time with these young women is really important, and is important to the young women, and more so if they let themselves, kind of absorb it too, and realize that the romance, the bonding that they're going through is the first step, and then the sex will come down the line when it's meant to be, and in the right context, which of course
Right.
is
Right.
marriage. As I said earlier, women generally don't crave sex for sex sake, and they want to get to know this guy, and the quality of the guy is really important to them on more than just the level of the physical.
Well, they
um
want to feel safe, emotionally connected with, protected, loved, all those things. It's all the feelings we want.
yeah, they want the emotional tie, and in hookup culture, the thing that I thought was one of the craziest things about it was
You're
that
not allowed to catch emotions.
exactly, and that was the whole object, was not to catch emotions or
And
catch
if
feeling
he who
catch
catches the feelings is the loser.
right. The really weird thing was that I was told that women that don't like somebody, it's okay to have sex with the ones they don't like. And the ones they do like, they're not supposed to have sex with them, these young women. So it's like, okay, the ones that you can have sex with but not catch feelings or catch emotions, just go ahead and have sex with them. I mean, how strange is that?
It just makes me sick. It makes me
Yeah.
sad.
And women use a dual purpose mate selection process, and we talked about that a little bit earlier, but they're looking for both good genes, and obviously tall, dark, and handsome, and all that goes along with that. but also character. You know, character is the other side of it, and what kind of a husband, father they're going to make, and just generally what kind of a person are they. You know, they aren't
Yeah.
looking at body parts of these guys and thinking, you know, like in a lot of cases the guys are thinking, wouldn't I love to
Right.
do this, that, you know, this, and they're thinking of this guy as a whole person, and
Package,
yeah,
right.
as a package, yeah. And so moving on from that, now, as we said earlier, you know, let's do it this way. Men's bonding response is much more complex, as we talked about with the vasopressin and that type of thing. It takes time. It takes,
For him to bond.
yeah. For women, women's sexual response is much more complex than a
So
man's.
when women bond easily, but the sex is more complex. For men, the sex is easier, but the bonding is more complex. Yes?
That's exactly correct.